Hi, I'm Mario Mancini, former WWE wrestler and first inductee into the 2014 New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. When I want my wrestling news, I watch the Squared Circle.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is April 15th, 2014. This is the Squared Circle. Once again, I'm your host, Hollywood J. Williams. I'm here with John Zimmerman, as usual.
As usual.
And here we have from PWA, the incomparable Joseph von Schmidt.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Mr. Joseph
Of course,
Mr.
Mr. Joseph von Schmidt. This episode tonight is dedicated to two people, two warriors, and the first one being, of course, the Ultimate Warrior.
As you can see behind us.
As you can see behind us, the unbelievable news I got Wednesday morning after being inducted into the Hall of Fame the Saturday before WrestleMania 30, and then appearing at WrestleMania 30, and then appearing on last Monday night's Raw. He flew home to his home state of Arizona, and I believe he was walking out to his car from a hotel.
Yes.
And collapsed on the sidewalk. Just unbelievable coincidence, and my heart goes out to his whole family.
Absolutely.
And the whole wrestling community, and I applaud the WWE for what they did last night. It was a really fitting tribute to a really great man. The autopsy report has came out by the Maricopa County, Arizona medical examiner. I could pronounce this right: atherosclerotic arteriosclerotic cardiovascular disease. It is the same cause of death for Eddie Guerrero when his heart stopped at the age of 38 back in November of 2005. The medical examiner added to Warrior's autopsy report that neither drugs nor alcohol were directly involved in Warrior's fatal heart attack event on Tuesday, April 8th. Admittedly, he was a heavy steroid user during his pro wrestling career, and steroids affect the conditions of a person's heart due to the fact that your heart works as a muscle as well. He also had a family history of heart disease. His father died at the age of 57, and his grandfather at the age of 52.
52, right.
But very, very, very sad week, very somber week in wrestling history.
Yeah, it went from like being one of the happiest moments, for the Warrior fans over the weekend. Like as you said, he got inducted on Saturday, was at WrestleMania on Sunday, and then the speech he gave on Raw on Monday, which turned out to be very prophetic, and it was great. Everyone was really excited to see him. And not only the fans, but his contemporaries. You can see a lot of the pictures on Twitter and so forth, that everyone backstage is hugging him and glad to see him. And he made amends with not only Vince McMahon, but all the guys in the back.
Was this maybe he knew about this happening and he needed to do all this before?
That seems to be the general consensus.
Sort of like when you have a sick relative or something that's far away that needs to see you and you need to fly in before, and they'll hold out.
Yep.
Something like that. That could very well be the case.
Yeah. But it was good to see that his daughters got to see him in a positive light, as he mentioned at his Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and. He finally got a new DVD that puts him in the positive light.
I know.
Because he still was upset about the self-destruction of Ultimate Warrior DVD, and it's a good thing that Vince had some closure.
Definitely.
I can't imagine just having all that animosity and not being able to to repair it.
Absolutely, and the advice that he must have given to the current roster that weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to hold it with them for the rest of their lives.
Oh, without a doubt.
Definitely. Now, Joseph, you know of anybody on the indie scene that ever had any contact with Warrior at all? That you ever met him personally, or?
Me personally, no, I haven't met him, but I know many people who have, and the main consensus of everyone on the independents that I know that has met him, they've never had a bad thing to say about him. I remember one of the stories of one of my actual students who met him, and as the Ultimate Warrior was moving people through the line for autographs and meet and greet, he told him he was a wrestler, and he stopped him and he actually talked to him for about 3 to 5 minutes while the rest of the line behind was getting angry and wanting him to move, but the Warrior just stood there and talked to him and really gave him some good advice.
Excellent.
So,
Excellent. Quality man.
Yeah, this week on Talk is Jericho, he talked about his involvement in that self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior DVD. And he said while Vince and the company didn't exactly say bury him, they were given instruction not to say anything complimentary for that DVD. And Jericho himself, said he felt bad about it, and he was, contractually obligated to do what the office told him to do.
Right.
And and Jericho said that's the only DVD that they were told, not to praise, who the subject was, and there was that much animosity between Vince and and the Warrior, and unfortunately Jericho wasn't at WrestleMania and wasn't able to see him, but he had met him a few times, and he crossed paths with him during their time, both their runs in WCW.
Right.
But it was interesting to hear, because I mention all the time that Talk is Jericho podcast, and he basically, he came flat out and said they were told not to compliment him on the DVD, and if you've seen it, everybody lines up and buries him. It's quite the opposite of every other WWE produced documentary.
They never really do that. Do you have any matches that were your favorites of the Warriors offhand?
Oh, everybody quotes, I believe it's WrestleMania 6, Hogan Warrior, and when Hogan put him over, and at the end he's got the 2 title belts. It's just every time he came out, the explosiveness, and I was in my teens,
right?
When he was at his popularity, in my late teens, and it was just amazing. That song is still probably the best theme song. And you heard that music hit. Years later, that glass breaking for Steve Austin had the same effect. But that
basically,
But I really think his theme song is the best. It's the most recognizable, and just the beat of it, and
the energy he had
Jim
coming
Johnson.
out, the energy he had coming out of the ring. He would grab the ropes, and I would have to say the Toronto Sky Dome WrestleMania 6.
That seems to be like the general opinion.
Oh, of course, that was definitely it. But also, let's say a few words here. I'm also dedicating this show in memory. I had a very close relative, family member of mine, my cousin, Gretchen Williams Flanagan, passed away this past Friday afternoon at the age of 35. Gretchen and I, she grew up in Northford, right up the street from where I grew up, and we were close growing up as kids, and she was one of my favorite family members. We have like a soap opera kind of family. She's actually my sister Jeannie's sister as well.
Yeah.
As I explained to you. Maybe that's kind of a reasoning behind me liking some of the daytime programming as well, but I don't know.
So it's her fault that you like these?
I don't know. Maybe it's the Williams. It's a Williams thing. You have to possibly be there. But we had some great times together growing up. We went to the casino together a few years back, and she was just a fun person to be around. And I'm definitely going to miss her. And in our family, she was actually one of our controversial members as well. But I always loved her, and everybody, you know, a lot of people got, you know, a lot of her friends and family. I mean, deep down, we all loved her.
Yeah.
You know, but what can be said about a person is in their life, it's something they, what they finally do at the end, and whatever critic she had out there, I'm telling you right now, this is my special comment, whatever critic she had out there right now, she was an organ donor. A 56-year-old man got her heart, and she saved his life, and she saved 2 other people's lives via her kidneys. And so whatever critics she had at the end were silenced. And Gretchen, God bless you. You're up there with my dad now, and all my other family members that are up there and looking down on us, and I know you're proud of me. And you know, if anything this week should teach us between this and the Warrior, it's you know, you gotta live life to the fullest. She always did. You never know what's gonna happen and when.
Right.
You know, try not to hold grudges. Between, you know, try not to go up to bed mad with people, and try your best. I mean, it's not always easy, but
well, closure is definitely important. And as I said about Warrior, I can't imagine Vince, you know, not having that closure. And if Warrior had passed before they got a chance to make up and patch things, you know, we've all said things that, you know, maybe later on in life we've regretted, and you know, in the heat of the moment. And fortunately, for that situation, they got to patch things up, and hopefully, you know, in your heart, you know how you feel,
right?
And
so,
you know, and it's very commendable, her being an organ donor, and
exactly,
you know, her part of her lives on.
Exactly.
You know, in true reality, you know, her heart is still beating, and as you said, her kidneys are still functioning. So, you know, the spirit is there.
Exactly. One final selfless act from a very selfless individual, you know. And God bless her.
Excellent. I agree.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yep. And she always used to love to go to the Squamish Ride on the beach out there. And
Yep.
I haven't been on those water slides. I said this at a service the other day. I haven't been on those water slides in years, but I intend to do that because we used to do that as kids. And I'm going to take a couple balloons and launch them right up into the air.
Nice.
And you get to see a 38-year-old man try to go on water slides.
I don't think I want to see that, actually.
But anyway, we're also here to talk with Joseph about the coming PWA card.
Yeah, this Saturday.
On a more positive note, I'm looking forward to seeing PWA in one of my other favorite communities here in Connecticut, Hamden.
Hamden. Yeah, first time in Hamden?
Yeah, this is going to be our first show there. It's at the banquet facility hall.
Yes.
Which used to be the Point After Club.
Okay.
So anyone who's familiar with the Point After Club, it's in that building right now. It's just under new ownership.
Okay.
Is it across from any landmarks over there on Dixville Avenue?
There's a Salvation Army right next to it, and then there's Dunkin' Donuts right in that area right there. That's where the building is, and then the part of the building that's facing the main street, Dixwell Ave, is actually a laundromat, and it's like first place design.
We have a graphic with the actual address on it, if we can bring that up.
Definitely.
There we go. And it's PWA presents Risen.
Yeah.
And
that guy on the bottom is very handsome.
Yeah.
That's me, of course.
You know, that's the card subject to change, of course, but that's the current lineup, and yeah, it's a wonderful extension. You know, you always have a theme. Risen, Easter is the following day, so I'm guessing that kind of fell into that. And you know, your cast of characters has grown since we started, and one of the premiere matches is going to be, as we see here, Wrecking Ball Legursky versus Just Incredible. ECW fan favorite, Connecticut's own Just incredible. What are you predicting?
I mean, just incredible is a legend. No matter what anyone says about him, no one can take away what he's accomplished in his career.
Yep.
And you know, how many time ECW champion was he? You know, 4 or 5 or maybe more. I don't know. But Wrecking Ball Legursky is looking to make an example, as he's made an example of all the people that he's faced. Pretty much, like last show, he body slammed a 565-pound man.
Yeah, that was quite incredible.
Makes you think of the Big Show and Brock Lesnar when the
and it was no Lex Luger slamming Yokozuna. It was he picked him up and walked around the ring with him and then body slammed him.
Yeah,
like it was nothing.
It's incredible. Wrecking Ball is definitely living up to his name. He's only been in a short time in PWA, and he's come, quite a long way from his green, his very first match in Conway.
He's won the first ever Oxbaker old school heavyweight championship.
Yes.
That's what he's currently holding right now.
Yep. Now, will this be for the title?
The title's not on the line because
No.
Just Incredible doesn't fit the weight limit.
Oh, okay.
He's a little bit short of the weight limit, so the title's not on the line.
Okay. And what else we got up next?
we got Sol de Oro taking on Tommy Mack.
Another newcomer to PWA, Sol de Oro. Where's he from? What's the backstory? Because we know very little about this man.
I've never actually seen him or heard of him.
He's from Mexico City. Rumor has it he's stowed away on my bag.
Really?
When I came back from Mexico on my tour, but I can't be sure.
and of course, local favorite, Heart Attack Tommy Mack. Last year and the year before, he was in the finals in the TNA's Gut Check, but he recently held the title.
Yeah, he's a
PWA.
former PWA champion too.
So,
yeah.
Not to get off subject, but how was your tour of Mexico?
I was good. I went down there. I worked with Arena Lopez, Mateo. I did 2 articles with Super Luchas, and then I did another TV. I don't know how it is. Like, it's hard for me to pronounce some of the stuff down there. But I did TV, which over 1 million people seen.
Wow.
And so it was, they cover all sorts of the shows and the events of the week, and we happened to be on it. I also trained with some like super legends down there. Like I trained with SCHMIDT, who is, if you're familiar with Shikara, he's the one who basically trained everyone in Shikara. Mike Quackenbush, all them. Claudio Castagnoli, that's where they learned from him, and I was down there training with him, and it's always just a great experience going outside of your element and learning something new. And that's the main thing I would tell any wrestler, is to keep going outside of your comfort zone to learn, because staying in your comfort zone, you're not going to learn everything you need to learn.
Well, I mentioned last week, the WWE's got this performance center, and everybody that is going to be coming into the WWE is being trained there, and I really think it's a disadvantage, because you only have one point of view, you only have one style.
We talked about that last week, yeah.
And whereas you had the territories, you traveled to Mexico and learn the Lucha Libre style. You traveled to Japan and learned their high-flying style, and then you went up to the Heart Dungeon and got stretched by Stu Hart. And you went out, to the AWA, NWA territories and learned, like, Vern Gagne, and his conditioning is insane. As you mentioned, I think one of the students, Ric Flair, I had to do how many Hindu squats? And
1,000.
Yeah. And learning from just one source, it's going to be stale. I think it's going to make the product very vanilla.
Exactly, and I mean, WWE is on top of its game. I'm never going to say that they're not, but when you made the stars, like I'm looking at the magazines here right on the table, like these stars, like The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, they traveled everywhere learning different things, learning different styles. And, I'm not to say that WWE won't bring certain new styles in to train them, but, you have to learn. You have to be out there and learn, like, what people, how to react with the fans, how to react with certain stereotypes inside the ring, where it's one trainer. For me, it's just like I learned as much as I could from them. They only know so much.
Right. Right.
So like you can only learn so much from one trainer, and then there's always so many different people out there who know
It's not
so
going to
much
really
more
make these
things.
people coming into this performance center well-rounded.
Possibly not.
Yeah, and I think it goes to like I said, style. It's not even amount of knowledge. I mean, because I'm sure that the trainers have a vast amount of knowledge, but it's from only their one viewpoint.
Right.
And it's I always equate things like to the music business, where if you have one guitar teacher, you're going to sound pretty much like that guy
When you're done.
Right.
when you're
Yes.
done. And if you only follow that one train of thought, and you don't go over to a flamenco style or a country style to learn something different, to get your personal blend of it. If you're only going to be a carbon copy of that one particular trainer or that one particular teacher, I really think that it's, like I said, it's going to be just vanilla. And all the guys, if they're all learning the same way from the same person, you're going to lose that personality, and you're going to lose that one blend that you take a little thread from here, you take a little thread from here, and it's your personal mix.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like when I really started getting good, like when I started getting notoriety and started traveling all over the world, basically I had my first trainer, which I learned the basics of wrestling, and then I went on and I learned with Bob Backlund, then I went on and learned with Al Snow, then I went on and learned from Captain Lou Albano, then I went on and learned from people down in Mexico, the Mohicano, Skida, Rocky Santana, and it just keeps going. And I always look to bring new people into the training facility too that have different styles than me, because like you said, I'm only going to create carbon copies of myself.
Right.
But that's why I try to go and learn from different masters, because as much as I'm a teacher, there's still so many more masters out there that know much more than me.
Right.
And to say that just because I'm a teacher, I'm a master at it would be foolish.
And you did mention you bring people in. Off the top of my head, I remember you recently had Stevie Richards.
Yeah.
Come in for a seminar. Marty Jannetty has been in. Ox Baker, of course.
And it's his birthday on the 19th.
Oh, Mazel. Happy birthday to Ox.
Definitely.
How's his health, by the way?
I got an invitation to your party, Ox, in Ohio. Unfortunately, I'll be at PWA.
Right.
Happy birthday.
How's his health?
He just was in the hospital. He had something with his heart. I believe it had fluid on his heart.
Okay.
And he's pulling through pretty good.
Okay.
So
he's not getting any younger. And we pray for him. And,
Definitely.
but he's getting smarter.
Yeah.
So all the young guys out there, take the opportunity to learn from
He
him.
always acts so youthful, though, too, anyway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
He
he's always ready to run out to the ring and get involved and be mobile.
He keeps saying that the WWE should bring back the managers. I think he wants to be one.
I agree. I agree. And Joseph just mentioned a guy like Lou Albano. The character that he was outside the ring, but behind the curtain, he was one of the great minds in wrestling, much like Bobby Heenan.
Bobby Heenan.
Yeah. But I've said many a time that we're really missing that, and hopefully that we can kind of drift back toward that and have a guy like Brock Lesnar needs Paul Heyman to talk.
Oh,
for.
definitely.
And I like this new Rusev guy. And he's got the girl talking for him. And it's always fun. You got that extra person outside causing interference, causing a problem.
Don't forget Zeb Coulter, Dutch
course.
Mantell, another great mind of the business.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Definitely.
And hopefully, Triple H is kind of bringing a little bit of that back, and
It looks like it's slowly.
We may go back to some of that, and and he's also, I think, really trying to bring back the tag team, which I enjoy.
Definitely. What else do we have for the PWA card?
Kind of. There you are.
There he
Yes,
is.
there it is.
Lucifer Lords, who's the current PWA champion, is that correct?
No, Azrael.
Ezreal now.
See, the last show here right before this is I beat Lucifer Lords for the title.
Okay,
Azrael cashed in his trophy,
that's correct.
jumped on my head,
Wow.
and then he took it back.
Hope you're not hurting off that.
Oh, I was. My neck is still hurting. But this time, and then, you know, Stevie Richards came out for the save, which sets up the tag match, which would have been me and Stevie Richards versus Azrael and Lucifer Lords. But word is that Stevie Richards is hurt.
Yeah.
And we have a guest commissioner, James Robinson, who is actually changing that match up. And before I left the academy, I heard him talking, and it sounds like it's going to be a three-way. Lucifer Lords versus Azrael versus me for the PWA title in a ladder match.
Wow.
So the title is going to be hung from the rafters. The first person who gets the title will be the new PWA champion.
You ever done a ladder match before?
I used the ladder once, not in a match. Change a light bulb.
So the title was hung from the rafters with care.
Yeah.
There we go.
Hoping I don't. I don't know.
Lucifer Lords recently made and Azrael actually recently made the PWI top 500 as well as
In
yourself.
addition to this
Yeah.
man right here.
I think I beat them all out.
And that's
did.
several years running
Yeah,
on your part.
5 years running for
Yes.
me.
Wow.
Lucifer was number 500 to be exact, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? He made the list.
He made
Yeah.
it's what counts.
That's it. It's better than 501.
Right, right. The last guy to graduate medical school is doctor. So
That's
the last
it.
guy on the list is still on the list.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing about PWA too, as well as its homegrown and organic talent from Connecticut. It also has a mix of, you know, some of the best indie guys out there, as well as some of the top performers that there has been in the business. And it's just, we try to have a good mix, because as much as, you know, the main Connecticut organic wrestlers, they're coming out really good in a short period of time.
Yeah.
But they're only going to learn from those
So much.
those seasoned independent guys, those seasoned pros, and it's really just amazes me still every day I see in every show that we put on. It just gets better and better and better, and the consensus from a lot of the fans are, you know, this is the best show I've ever been to.
And your audience is growing too.
Yeah, and they always say, it's like, this is the best show we ever seen. This is the best show we ever seen. So that's good that every show keeps getting better, and it's better than hearing, you know, that last one was good, but we haven't heard that yet. So.
Well, I catch up on them on the DVDs, because unfortunately I work on Saturday evening. But my children go, and I always get the report, and then you put together the DVD, and I catch up. So it's definitely a lot of fun. Mr. Dacey couldn't be here tonight. Our third co-host.
Right.
And we have him on the line though. He wants to.
Oh, by all means, bring him
Mr.
on.
Dacey, the Thunderous one.
Where are you this evening? Are you burning up all your sick time?
No, I am home in our home office over here, negotiating our new contract.
Ah. Well, I need definitely a little bit more money and more craft services, because these little cups are.
Yeah, a man of my caliber should be drinking out of champagne glass.
At least the red cup.
Yeah, red solo cup.
We'll try to take care of that. But
Yes, sir.
I'm really enjoying the show this evening. I love the background.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tribute to the Ultimate Warrior. But I'd like to ask Joseph,
Yes.
if I can, and I'll be brief. I'll hang up and listen to the answer, because I know you got some other calls waiting.
Yep.
But I'd like to ask Joseph, what was the best piece of advice you ever got in your career, and what advice would you give to an up-and-coming wrestling star?
Wow.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
The best piece of advice that I ever got actually came from two guys. It came from Sabu, where I met him in New York, and he didn't know me from anybody. And he came up to me, and for whatever reason, he started telling me, it's all about having a character in wrestling, something that the fans can relate to and get behind. And up for the first 8 years of my career, I didn't have a defining character. I just was a wrestler, you know. So when he gave me that advice, I never was the type of guy in wrestling that believed I knew it all. Like, so I knew, like, I was like, this guy is a former ECW. He's a Japanese legend. He's made millions of dollars in his career. He obviously has a point. So fast forward to about another 6 weeks ahead, I ran into John Cena Sr. And he said to me, he started giving me ideas. He's like, well, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I'm just a wrestler. He's like, listen, he goes, you need to have a defining character. He's like, what can you do or what can you get behind? And I was like, well, you know, I'm German. He's like, there you go. He goes, that's it. He goes, just be a German. He goes, I guarantee you within 6 months, you'll have your first out of country tour. And 6 months on the nose, I was in Mexico for my first tour.
And a couple of shows ago, you had John Cena Sr. as a guest.
Yeah, he comes in and out. You know, he always does like the guest commissioner or something with us, or he manages, like he's managed Mega Muerte. Yeah. And he's always involved, and we always love him coming to our shows and working with us.
And he is so personable, and you know, the fans get really up close to him and shaking hands.
Very easy
he's
to
getting
talk to.
autographs, and he's handing out what's he have, $1,000 bills and he autographs.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And he's just a really good guy, and you know, always smiling, always happy, and you know, the kids love him, the fans love him, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know, who better to give you advice than, you know, John Cena Sr.
Right.
I mean,
he must have did something right with his son.
Right. Arguably, John Cena is the most over superstar, you know, in the world right now.
So, I mean, in a nutshell, my advice is really get yourself a character, gimmick, and really entertain the people, because that's what it's really about. It's not about how many backflips you can do off the top rope, how many suplexes that you could do through how many tables off of a balcony on a ladder.
That stuff's important too. But
It is, but the fans need to care about you first.
Yeah.
it's kind of like when
like if you don't care about the two guys that are in the ring, they're just wrestler A and wrestler B, which is a lot of what's going on out there now.
Yeah.
It's cool, you know. It's like, oh wow, you know, he went off a ladder and landed through a table. Okay, we're having meatloaf tonight.
Yeah.
it's like when Rocky Maivia, The Rock, first onto the scene, he was I don't know, some kind of Samoan character, and the fans didn't really take to him too well.
Right.
And that's why they had to turn him heel and make him The Rock.
I mean, even so-called Steve Austin, you know, he was the ringmaster, and that, you know, he wasn't, you know, he admittedly, on his show, Steve Austin's show podcast, he says he wasn't invested in the character,
Right.
You know, and it didn't get over, and you know, he couldn't get behind it. So if you can't get behind the character, how is anybody else going to get behind it?
Exactly.
Like, and here's just a simple thing. Like, when you see two old legends in the ring, and they just tell that story, and then they just do like a headlock takeover into an arm drag, into an arm bar, which are all very common moves, the crowd goes crazy because they're invested in the characters, and that's the important thing. And like, if the fans aren't invested in you, then you have to jump off of ladders and do flips. But if the fans are invested, when they see any kind of danger to that hometown favorite or the person that they really like, they're going to be, you know, in shock and on their toes about it, as well as when they see the villain that they hate getting his up and coming.
Well, you know, that goes to the Jim Ross comment. You know, there's a lot of sizzle but no steak.
Right. So, well, I've got this paper opened here. There's something about NFL star Sean Merriman. He finalized a contract with WWE as an announcer and wrestler. He did the pregame for WrestleMania, and he did some work with. But he wants to go to the Performance Center and hopefully be part of the NXT roster.
He won't be the first, you know, football player to turn wrestler.
No.
You know, you got Hacksaw off the top of my head. You got Hacksaw. You got Goldberg.
Luger, Lex Luger.
Right. The Rock. They have a few of them down there right now. They have at least 3 or 4 that just didn't get picked up by the NFL.
Right. And, you know, it's a great secondary career. Not to say that what you do is secondary, but for a former pro football player,
right?
You know, that can no longer do that. You know, that job. You know, it's proven to be a successful formula. as we just mentioned. But we do have a special guest on the line, Mr. Joseph Bruin. Mr. Bruin.
Yes.
Welcome to the Squared Circle.
Thank you for having me, John.
This is the gentleman from the Pro Wrestling, New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Mario Mancini is going to be one of the first inductees of this year's class. And tell us a little more about what's going on.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. We have a big event coming up. It's New England Fan Fest 4 and the 8th Annual New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. It's all taking place on the 21st of June, and it's at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Warwick, Rhode Island. And new location for us, so it's going to be great. It's going to be interesting. A nice big location in comparison to prior years, and really looking forward to it. So very easy for fans to get to, accessible. It's one exit away from the airport. Free shuttle service to and from the hotel, and you can purchase general admission tickets right at the door. It's $15 to get in, or you can pre-order them right on our website.
Yeah, we have your website right on the screen now. nepwhof.weeebly.com, nepwhof.weeebly.com, and it's right up on the screen as we speak. Just give us a highlight. You couldn't go over the entire roster of the fellows that are going to be there, the ladies and gentlemen, but in addition to our good friend Mario Mancini, who's getting inducted this year, and who are some of the highlights that are going to be on the vendors floor?
Certainly some of the highlights for the Hall of Fame portion of it. You have Harley Race, multiple-time NWA Tag Team Champion.
That's a great choice.
Legend.
Yep.
Jim the Anvil Neidhart, referee Billy Silverman, the late British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith. The award will be accepted by his wife Diana Hart, and his son Harry Smith. The late Matt Bourne, as you said, Mario Mancini.
Yep.
Jose Luis Rivera will be inducted as well. Some great locals: Knuckles Nelson, Ron Zombie, Curtis Slam Dog, Boston Bad Boy Jason Rumble, and ROH ring announcer Bobby Cruz.
Nice.
Just to name a few. And then for the Fan Fest, certainly a lot of highlights this year. We're lucky to have some great stars with us. Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner will be joining us.
Excellent.
The Superfly Jimmy Snuka, the Bad Guy Razor Ramon, Scott Hall. Of course, Bobby the Brain Heenan coming back. And the legendary Corey Funk Jr. as well.
Wow. Hey, we're on live now with Joseph von Schmidt, and he's wondering why he's not on the list, my friend.
Joseph von Schmidt, intimidating presence, one of the premier big men in New England, that's for sure. Just want to say hello myself.
How are you?
Very good. And yourself?
Good. I'll be there too.
Excellent. Yeah, well, as far as the Hall of Fame goes, I mean, this is obviously a huge consideration list out there, and Joseph von Schmidt certainly well-deserving, still very active
I'm
as well.
still a very young man. So.
A long road ahead of you.
Yes.
Yeah, a friend of the show, you mentioned Ron Zombie, great guy. We're happy to have him in. Next, I spoke to you before, and I'm going to push for Mr. Bull Dread for the next class. You can't say zombie without dread.
Right. Bull Dread's definitely made his mark in the independent scene and all throughout New England and even beyond. You
got to throw out the name Rex Lethal as well.
I'm sorry?
Rex Lethal. You've obviously heard of him, have you not?
Rex Lethal, that one I have not.
We're going to have to forward you the resume. But the premier company in Connecticut right now, and I believe the last man standing in Connecticut, is PWA, headed by Joseph von Schmidt. He's basically done the takeover of Connecticut, and he's running an awesome organization here. And I urge you to come on down, as we're going to come on up and see you.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. You got any dates coming up soon?
He's running this Saturday in Hamden, which is a little close for you to make arrangements, but we definitely will forward you to the next event. And Joseph von Schmidt, I know on the horizon, has his own version of the Performance Center.
Yes.
That he's trying to put together, and hopefully we'll get some more details on that, and we'll do a whole profile, and we're going to get you down here, Mr. Bruin, and we do have a commitment from Mr. Mario Mancini after the Hall of Fame ceremony. This is the first place he's going to hit.
Excellent. Excellent.
So
I was really looking forward to it, and he's a great guy. We're really looking forward to having him.
yeah, we love him. We love him, and he had a lot to say about the Warrior. Did you have any interaction with the Warrior?
Met him a couple times over the years. Met him as a kid as well, and nothing bad to say about the guy at all. I mean, he took the time with his fans, and certainly left a lasting impact in the wrestling world. That's for sure. And you know, whether you speak highly of him or you weren't a fan of him, he made his impact, and he certainly paid his dues as well. So you got to give the man the credit that he deserves, and certainly one of the, I would say, most recognizable characters of all time.
Yes,
definitely. If there's going to be a Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling, he's definitely one of the faces.
He's considered, yeah. And also Connecticut's own, I believe you're having Howard Finkel. Am I correct?
Howard Finkel, he's the master of ceremonies each year. He'll be back with us hosting the Q&A session and, of course, the Hall of Fame ceremony as always.
Yeah, he's also a fan of our show. Hollywood J. Williams, got a chance to talk with him.
I talked with him for a few minutes at an event in Queens, New York. The big event, they call it.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, a good man himself. We really love what you're doing. We appreciate the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. We love that you considered Mr. Mario Mancini, and keep up the great work. And if you can give us the particulars one more time, how to get a hold of you, and so forth.
Absolutely. Appreciate the plug, and you can contact me direct at hwfforever@yahoo.com for any fan questions, any ticket information that you need. And, of course, as you said earlier, our website, www.nepwhof, that's New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, abbreviated, .weebly.com. And you can pre-purchase any of the tickets available right on there. And if you're somebody who's coming from out of town, you can book the hotel as well, the Crown Plaza out of Warwick, Rhode Island, and you can call 401-732-6000 to book your room. Just mention New England Fan Fest for the discount.
Excellent. Thank you very much for the call. And we'd love to have you come down and check us out and join us. And again, like I said, Mario is going to be on the week after or thereabouts. And we'll see you in June.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
You as well.
Thank you. That was a pleasure talking to him.
Yeah, Joe Bruin is doing some great stuff for the local guys, and we will push when it's time for Mr. Joseph Pontrino.
He doesn't know who Rex Lethal is, though.
Don't push too hard. I'm still young.
Well, you know what? I mean, when did Flair get in the Hall of Fame, and he's still kicking it around?
He got in the Hall of Fame. And
Hall of Fame doesn't necessarily mean you're retired or your career is over.
13 years in, so I'm hoping to get 13 more.
Yeah.
He got in the Hall of Fame the year he retired, quote unquote, Ric Flair. His last WWE wrestling match.
Right. We do have some more on the Risen card, I believe.
Yeah, well, let's keep going with that. We have Ronnie Ribbs, is it?
And Nathaniel Carr.
And Nathaniel Carr. I've never heard of either one of these guys.
Two newcomers. The first time we had Ronnie Ribbs on the card, he was up in Massachusetts.
Okay.
Blackstone, Massachusetts was his first debut, where he won in a three-way match against I can't remember their names. So
It doesn't matter.
I guess it doesn't.
Not that they weren't important. Not that they weren't important, but I can't remember their names.
Yeah.
Jabroni A and Jabroni B.
And then Nathaniel Carr there, he actually is a student out of the Pro Wrestling Academy. He had his first match at the last show against Ron Lee and Big Booty Trudy. And that was definitely one of the highlight matches of the night for me. I watch all the matches that I can when I'm not preparing for mine. And I actually caught that match, and I was dying laughing.
Yeah.
Because it was just so entertaining.
Yeah.
And when you see a woman like Big Booty Trudy giving the Rikishi butt slam.
Right.
It's just such a humorous thing.
Great.
You know?
Do we have anything else here? We have Damien Darko taking on TKO.
Yeah.
TKO is a regular fighter
Yeah.
in PWA.
Yeah, he's from Hamden. He's Hamden's own.
Oh, great.
Wow.
You know? So he's in his hometown finally.
You won't have to travel too far.
No. and he knows where the hospital is too. So that's a good thing, I'm sure. But yeah, they're in a Wall Street fight. I guess it's like a street fight. I don't know. It's Damien Darko. He's a very political, anti-government person, and he's decided to not have a street fight with TKO, but a Wall Street fight. So
Wall Street fight.
Yeah. So maybe he's going to throw money at him. I don't know.
I'll have to show up for that.
Yeah.
Anti-government gimmick.
Anytime there's
Yeah.
money flying around, I'll grab some.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of the devil,
there's
Mr.
Bull right
Dread.
there.
Yeah, Bull Dread versus James Barton Rigby. He's a newcomer. He's from England. He's definitely impressed. He has a victory over Sol de Oro. It was his first match here in PWA. And no, did he? No, Sol de Oro I think beat him, but after the match, he showed that English temper and beat him down with that cane that you see him, that stick that he had in his hand. He beat the life out of Sol de Oro. So Bull Dread's a big, tough guy, but you ain't tough when you get hit with a stick in the face. You know, so
What's the purpose of the stick?
I don't know. They
Speak
call it
softly?
shillelagh, right?
Oh, right.
Speak
right.
softly.
There you go. But we do have another call.
We do. Let's go to
You
it.
are live on the Squared Circle.
Yeah, guys, Bill from North Haven. How you doing tonight?
Thank you
Great,
for calling.
Bill. How you
We're
doing?
Great.
Don't miss the show. I'm a little late tonight, but I never missed a show. First
you.
and foremost, I just want to say how much I like the banner that's behind you guys.
Thank you.
Huge Ultimate Warrior fan from when I was a young kid.
I spent all day painting that myself.
Yeah. Hey, I even had the doll. I even had the stuffed doll.
Excellent. Yeah, that's going for like $1 zillion from now on eBay.
Yeah. And I was totally shocked when, I'm sure as everybody was, but
Yeah.
really a tremendous loss. But I think that speech he gave, to the fans, I think will forever go down as one of the better speeches, and I think that'll live long in everybody's mind.
Oh,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
I'd like to just also say I'm excited because I know you guys have there's the PWA show on the 19th, which is this Friday or
Yeah,
Saturday.
The Saturday.
Yep. I'm going to go to that. I grabbed a friend of mine. We're going to come down and see the show. Very excited to get see some live action.
Excellent. You will not be disappointed, my friend.
Definitely not.
No, look forward to seeing the action. And, I just, I'll keep it short because I know you guys are running short on time.
Yep.
Just for each of you on the panel there, one question is if in the last 30 years, if you could pick any wrestler that you would want to be, who would that be?
Okay.
That's an interesting question.
We'll let you go, and we'll answer that question. Thank you for calling.
All right, take care.
All right. You want to start?
Sure. Joseph von Schmidt. I'm completely happy being who I am. So I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Woo! Were you expecting me to say anything else?
I never really gave it much thought. I would probably more be the manager because I really like that role. But Captain Lou, because he just managed so many great tag teams.
I could see a Slick.
Yeah. But I would have to say any one of the great managers, but maybe behind the desk like Jesse the Body, because he had his mic work behind the desk was fantastic, especially with either Vince or Mean Gene, and just being the complete heel announcer. He was, in my opinion, the greatest. Him and Bobby Heenan on the mic. But I'll go with Ventura.
You'll go with Ventura, I'll go with Flair.
Yeah.
I'll go with Joseph von Schmidt.
Well, neither one of us were wrestlers, so I mean, you know.
Yeah, of course.
But
If I wasn't Joseph von Schmidt, I'd want to be Joseph von Schmidt.
Wow.
that's a great thing. What else do we have on this card? I think we have a couple matches left.
Here we go. We have our first ever intergender match.
Yes.
Intergender.
Yes, we have Esther Stolfutz, who's an Amish girl.
Yeah.
From Lancaster, Pennsylvania. She's taking on Dickie Moon with his valet Lucy Diamond. I'm just interested to see on what's going to happen here myself.
What kind of style does this Esther Stolfutz bring to the table here?
Strong style. I
Yeah,
mean,
well, you know,
and when
I'm
she's
just-
not wrestling, she's plowing fields, I guess,
Raising barns,
churning
yeah.
butter and.
I think she's
that.
going to have to leave Pennsylvania now on her horse and carriage to get down here by Saturday.
I think she's on the road, but I wouldn't know. She doesn't have a cell phone.
Right, she's Amish. She'll just be at the event.
She'll just be at the event. That's
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Dickie Moon has had a few matches now under his belt.
Yeah,
at PWA.
he's up and down. Like, he has some spectacular wins and he's had some brutal defeats. So it's just interesting to see where he's going to end up. And you know, there's a little bit of like turmoil starting to build between him and his valet. So we'll see what happens.
Well, we've certainly seen that before.
Mm-hmm. How many times? We just saw that recently with Fandango.
Yeah, and Summer Rae. And now we've got Grappling Greg. I believe he's from Wallingford.
He's from Bristol.
Oh, Bristol. I'm sorry.
Yes, it's Bristol, and he's been a collegiate wrestler pretty much his whole life, and then he kind of made the leap over at the beginning of maybe mid last year. I think maybe he's about a year in.
Yep.
And he's wrestling Saru from Japan.
Yeah.
Saru.
Yeah, he's a.
We tried to get Saru on, but we couldn't get an interpreter.
Yeah.
See, he's a wrestling monkey from Japan.
Yeah, I guess he must have been born in the year of the monkey. I don't know what his significance is behind being a monkey, but I mean, with the Chinese or Japanese calendar, I think there's a year of the monkey, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's
I'll go
what
out
it
on a
is.
limb and say that Grappling Greg will definitely win this match, and he definitely will spank Saru.
Saru. I'm just interested in seeing Saru.
Oh boy.
The Normals.
Oh boy. That's a motley crew.
Yeah.
It almost looks like they're abnormal, but we'll call versus the House.
And speaking
Party.
of managers, right? Here's a prime example. DR Star comes out with the Normals, and of course Buzz Bloodsaw, and correct me.
Yeah. Chance to Mass.
Chance to Mass. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, that's just a very, very, very. What's the word I'm looking for? Prime example of what a manager is for a team. You know, he's been charged with so many good victories for the Normals, as well as being the cause of so many of their defeats. You know, so it's that coin flip. You know,
which is bound to happen.
Sometimes it's that that coin flips in your favor, and sometimes it doesn't. You know, I've seen DR Star throw fireballs. I've seen him, try to get beat up by women. I mean,
this feud is been going on for a little while now.
Ongoing, yeah. At the house party the last time they faced the Normals, I think that was the main factor was DR Star. Ended up costing his team the match.
Who comprises the house party now?
It's Cooley K and KMC.
Yeah.
Cooley K is the one with the boombox, and KMC is the one without the boombox.
And that boombox is the real deal. It's not a prop. It is the real deal. I haven't seen one of those since I was a young man myself.
And that's gonna be for the PWA tag team titles. It's a championship match.
Nice. And do we have one more card?
One more.
No, that was it.
That was it. That was the end of that.
But any news on two things before we wrap up? The youth program you have coming up, I'm sure, and anything you can share with us on.
I have to lodge a complaint because
building.
some of your youths were trying to take over my show a few weeks back.
I got to talk to them. They should do a better job and really take over. Yeah.
Well, dates and information for the youth program.
Yeah, we're starting the signups actually this week. We're actually going to be looking to start April 21st is going to be our first date, and we usually have an 8-week program, 2 classes a week, and I think that runs us to June 11th. June 11th,
Right.
yes. So, you know, the kids come in, they learn the basics of wrestling and understanding of wrestling without being injured or without being, you know, trying to do it on their own, unsupervised, you know, where a lot of kids, like, they don't really report a lot of it, but a lot of the kids who are untrained properly and trying to do these things what we do without understanding and learning the movements, you know, it takes away, if they really have a promising career, it can really take away years of their career because they do something silly and get hurt, where if they could have just learned it the proper way early on, they have so much more of a career to them, you know, because the early part of wrestling is learning, and then the later part of your career is making money.
Yes.
That's how wrestling works. So, you know, it's better to learn it first early so you're not hurt, so you can have that longer.
Right,
The longer career.
I do say quite often, all joking aside and all storylines aside, I do trust you with my son, which to me, you know, it's one of the precious commodities that I have, and safety is always the very first thing.
Always.
And there's no joking around. It's just definitely a serious atmosphere. And Quint does a wonderful job with the guys, and there's no negativity whatsoever. There's no browbeating. You know, it's all positive. And if the youths don't do something properly, Quint explains to them in a wonderful way how to correct it. You know, without coming down hard on them.
Right,
exactly.
He's not a drill sergeant.
Right, it's being taught positively as well as learning respect. Like, respect is a huge part of the wrestling business, and if you have that early on, there's just so many more doors that are going to open up for you in the business, because just a simple hello and how are you and shaking hands, to where some people aren't trained to do that.
Yeah.
Like, the old timer guys, like,
We're always taught respect.
yeah, if you don't shake their hand or say hello to them when you walk in, like, you think that sounds really silly.
Yeah.
But to them, it's an insult, because they paved the way for you.
Yeah.
And you're just, and how hard is it to be like, hello and thank you for what you've done?
Right.
Nice to meet you.
With a minute left, what's coming up? Do you have a building, or are we still looking?
We're still looking. I have 6 buildings that I really like, and what the problem is zoning.
Yeah.
Zoning is the main problem. So, like, basically, I'm looking at 2 more tomorrow, and after I look at that, I'm just going to pick the best one for the facility that's going to be best suited for us to do our iPay-per-views, to put on our weekly shows as well, and we're just going to put an offer in on the one that we want, and we'll go through zoning, and we'll get everything cleared. It's just going to.
That's fantastic.
Always a pleasure having you on, Joseph.
That's
Thank
fantastic.
you. Thank you.
know,
Always
so,
a pleasure.
When we get some finalization, you come back, or give us a shout and let us know what where to find you, where we're going to have a permanent home.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent.
Until then, just stay up with us with Pro Wrestling Academy CT.com, or find us on Facebook, facebook.com/PWACT. You want to become a wrestler? I'm the guy to help
You'll find all those links on
Here in
our
Connecticut.
This is the perfect teacher for you.
Facebook page. We need to get off the air.
I'm Hollywood J. Williams. Good night and good luck, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Mr. Von Schmidt.
Thank you.